Und hello, and welcome to that episode.
It's episode 7.
I don't know 7 in German.
Of Drunk Doctor Who Heroes and Villains side podcast. Because I'm not drinking for a while, so we're doing the Heroes and Villains.
Had her shaved.
Wait.
20 years younger. Did we talk about that last time?
I shaved some time ago, yes. Alright.
Did you reshave?
Yeah, usually about every 4 days I'll shave. I did get a haircut.
There you go, haircut.
I got a haircut on Thursday.
That's what looks good.
Yep.
You look young, Hatter.
Oh, thank you. Alright.
Today's episode we'll be discussing
Vicki.
Well, with an I.
Well, the 2 episodes.
We're discussing 2 companions.
Well, Vicki and then Steven, because we usually do 2 of these.
Next episode.
Yeah, whenever we do the Heroes.
Which means you have to watch them back to back for the full experience.
I guess. I don't know. Either way. Alright,
I'm sure I have notes on Vicki somewhere. I should have found those before we started the podcast. I'll usually write down like quotes of people and interesting. Mostly the Doctor. Mostly it's just quotes that the Doctor says.
Alright. Okay, Vicki is the first companion that gets picked up after the adventures begin. Because in the beginning, it's the Doctor, Susan, Ian, and Barbara. She's basically the replacement for Susan because the actress wanted to go on and do other stuff.
What did she
Foreman.
What did she go on to do? Do you know? The actress?
I don't. But she didn't want to just be the damsel in distress. And with the exception of the censorites, they really didn't flesh out her character the way she wanted.
She failed as an actress after that.
I don't know about that.
Don't leave a successful show when you got.
Well, I can agree with that. Definitely. But anyway, so Vicki shows up in the 11th serial, The Rescue, which is right after Dalek Invasion of Earth, the 10th serial. These are both in season 2, and the 10th serial, Dalek Invasion of Earth, is where the Doctor has that wonderful speech and says goodbye to Susan. Speech, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's
tearjerker.
The first Doctor's best speech, period. And then The Rescue is only 2 episodes, and it was basically designed to get Vicki on board. So they could use the scripts that already had Susan written in and stuff like that. She stays with the show for 10 serials, from the 11th to the 20th. And
that's like half the season?
No. 10 serials is basically a season.
A full season?
Yeah, because of the 3rd serial from the 1st season to the 2nd season to the 3rd serial of the 3rd season.
Alright. They're doing like 36 episodes a season? 43, yeah.
So she's basically in there for 40 something episodes. All right.
Write that down. 40 something episodes.
40-ish. All right. Okay. So she is the young ingenue, essentially, like I said, replacing Susan, and she is protected a lot by the Doctor and the Barbara and Ian. She shows up in The Rescue, and then the Romans, they disguise her. They disguise her as a boy at first?
Yeah.
Yeah, they disguise her as a boy at first because she's like, the actress isn't quite young enough, but the character's just young enough she could theoretically be a prepubescent boy or something. And they disguise her as that.
Yeah, Joan of Arc kind of thing.
Yeah, well, but it's funny because the Romans.
Clothes.
She's fantastic in Romans. Along with, I think it's one of Hartnell's best serials too. When he's pretending to be the entertainer and stuff. Yeah. And then the Wed Planet.
How's it go?
The Crusade, where once again they pretend I think she's a boy.
Yeah, I get those confused, I guess. Excuse me.
The Space Museum, the Chase, the Time Meddler. Remember, the Chase is where we pick up Steven. He's the one we'll be talking about here in a bit. Let's see, Galaxy 4, Mission to the Unknown, and the Mythmakers, which is where she leaves off. And in the Mythmakers, and she basically, the rescues at the beginning of 1965, and they kept her for 1 year, and she left at the end of 1965.
She found her true love.
In the Mythmakers.
Yes.
No, mostly they didn't renew her contract. The contract was for 1 year, 1965.
But she was in love. So
and
they ditched her in that timeline.
Yeah.
Time frame.
But yeah, so they've got a habit back then, very specifically, of getting rid of companions after about a year's time to try and keep the show fresh. And they kept doing that up till about Jamie McCrimmon. And then they kept him for 3 stinking years because he was awesome. Yay, Jamie.
Is he your favorite companion?
Well, he's one of my favorites. He really is.
Captain. Who is your favorite?
It's a close call between... You've got Sarah Jane Smith is awesome. Jamie McCrimmon's awesome.
But how many companions do you get per Doctor?
5 on average, or for the course of the entire Doctor's run?
I guess average, yeah.
Well, say your average Doctor for the course of their entire run. I would have to add them up, but I would guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 10, 12.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Now the first Doctor, the 8th Doctor, of course, only had the 1. Because he was only there for the TV movie.
So we've had probably 100 companions by now. How many companions have we had throughout this show's history?
Well, throughout the show's history?
Yeah, the whole show. Every companion. There's 100 of them.
Are we counting prior Doctors as companions?
No, not previous Doctors. Just companions of Doctors. Not including other Doctors. Because if so, we have a lot of episodes ahead of us.
Okay, we'll consider Romana as 1.
I haven't met her yet.
Correct.
Romana? Is that a robot?
No.
Argonian? Are you counting each and every companion? We might be here for a while.
Alright, well, thus far there have been approximately 55 companions.
Oh, that's not nearly as many.
Okay, so that means on average, each Doctor's got about 4 to 5 companions.
So after the revival, the Doctors started getting a lot more companions than
well,
in the old stuff.
You could argue, well, fewer. Like Eccleston had just Rose and Mickey, although he did he had Rose and Mickey and Adam, just 3, and then and Cat and Jack, so 4.
Okay.
And then you get to the 10th Doctor and you start adding in people like Donna and Wilfred and Martha, and several one-shots. But yeah, overall you've got about an average of 5 per Doctor.
It's like memorizing whole estates. Could you off the top of your head just go through every companion and name them all?
I'm bad with names. I could do a reasonably decent job.
That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, I could do a reasonably decent job, but I know I would miss some.
Would you miss some states? Could you do all 50 states?
I'd be fighting at the end, you know? I mean, like Delaware, who it's Delaware.
Well, you just got Delaware, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but there are states people forget about.
I would get all 52 states on that.
52? No, do you see in Puerto Rico are not states yet? Alright, so anyway, Vicky's there, like I said, and she acts in that young role, and they have a young female, a kid-style female, not like the modern stuff where you've got the adultish females, you know, like Rose or Amy or whatever. People could theoretically be love interests for the Doctor. We're talking about young, children-esque, although the actresses are not children, they just play the part. Basically 14, 15, something like that.
Is that weird for the Doctor to be romantically interested in?
It started with the TV movie. It's where he first kisses a companion. And then it goes into the new stuff heavily with the Doctor being enamored with Rose, and he kisses her. And then Rose is completely smitten by the Doctor. Just flat out. And then Martha's smitten by the Doctor, but the Doctor's still pining for Rose. And Donna was a breath of fresh air because she was not pining for the Doctor. She was not smitten by him.
Do you think the TARDIS gets jealous?
Sometimes, yes, it does.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, it does. Okay, so Vicky's there, and she is one of a string of young female companions. Because after Vicky is Dodo, and then after Dodo,
are we gonna do an episode for Dodo?
Yeah,
we just skip over that one.
Yeah, it'll be a short episode. She wasn't great, and she wasn't there long. And then after Dodo, it goes to
Dodo.
Oh, after
like
Dodo.
Dodo.
Well, after Dodo's Polly, but Polly's grown up. Ben and Polly are actually adults.
They made a good duo.
Yeah, they did.
They never kissed.
Yeah, we just rewatched Power of the Daleks animated as part of our catching up on the animations that have come out. Although this one we watched animated when we first watched it. We have 3 more to go over the next month or so because we're going to do a movie and one of these alternate weeks. Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, by the time it gets to Polly, they get rid of the young girl and then they have a woman that's no longer a young girl. And then Polly's replaced by Victoria, not to be confused with Vicki.
It is confusing though.
Victoria, and then Victoria is eventually replaced by Zoe. And Zoe is a little more, she's an adult, but she looks a bit younger, like a young girl, but she's an adult. And then after that, they're all scientists and stuff like Joe, Grant, and who was the one before Joe?
The one that was there for like an episode that got replaced by Joe?
A season, yeah.
Season.
She was there for 4 serials.
She got pregnant, is that why?
Yeah, the actress got pregnant.
I don't remember her name. I have it written down somewhere.
We got it somewhere in here. But yeah, but after that, I mean, and then eventually after Joe, you have Sarah Jane Smith, which we will see soon with the 3rd Doctor.
Oh. And that's one of your favorites?
Yeah, she is considered one of the greatest companions.
Cool.
Yeah. I still love K9 as well. Captain Jack Harkness, Jamie McCrimmon. I love Wilf. Wilfred.
Wilfred, I'd like to...
Wilfred, Donna's grandfather. He's a companion for 2 episodes.
Is that an acronym?
No, Wilfred's his name.
Wilf. What would Will stand for if it was an acronym?
Will invest lots of funds. Oh no.
Are you invested in GameStop?
I actually have no access to that stuff right now because I turned off my Robinhood.
What?
I'm trying to get a different one, but
Transferred over to like.
no, I just cashed out. No,
Oh, okay.
just transferred the money.
Gotcha.
But I haven't figured out which one to do or how to do it. So,
Who are the companions in the Mind Dropper?
the mind robber.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was Zoe and Jamie.
Yes. All right.
Although remember, Jamie got sick, so for a couple episodes they had a stand-in because the doctor messed up the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Vicki is young. She's happy. She's intelligent. Bright. And
Brighter than a lot of the other older companions that you think would have a more common sense, but they don't.
they don't always. Yeah. Well, the one we have right now, Joe Grant, is the last of the dumb blondes. Although she has shown some
she's
ingenuity
fairly
in various
confident.
places. Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of times she's not.
Some of the companions you're just frustrated with because they just
Dodo.
obviously wander off and get themselves into situations. Which, I mean, Joe does that, but she also sometimes gets herself out of those situations, which is, I mean, having an adventure.
Sarah Jane, she's the don't tell me what to do, lion woman, hear me roar. She is smart, she's brilliant, she's curious, she's great, but she does that a lot. She gets into a lot of trouble. Okay.
It's like when you're watching a horror movie and you're like, don't go upstairs.
And they
Sometimes
always
it sometimes just turns into a frustrating viewer experience when you write characters like the script writers writing, the plot, and they're like, well, how do we move this along? Well, Doctor will say, stay put, and then he'll leave, and then she'll leave in the other direction. It's like, don't do that.
Exactly.
If you could be a companion, would you? Would you be a companion? Even though it might mean your death or being stranded?
Oh, you mean in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not on the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, who wouldn't want to be that?
Well, probably. I mean,
Yeah? You would risk your life to meet the Daleks and go on space adventures?
okay. Well, I'm married, so that may make it a bit different for me. If I was single, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But married, I gotta take care of the wife. Yeah.
Take out a good life insurance policy and then go.
In fact, I'm trying to think of any of the characters, any of the companions who were married and didn't travel with their spouse. And I'm not coming up with any of them. They were all single. Amy and Rory, later on Amelia Pond, or later on Amelia Williams after she marries Rory Williams.
They're married.
They're married and they're going on adventures, but they're married.
Oh.
Although she starts out without him when they're single, they do get married. But pretty much all the companions of Doctor Who are pretty much always single.
I guess that puts you out of the running.
At the moment. Yeah, there's a couple older ones that are widowers. A lot of them are younger, so they're kids. But yeah, most of the they just don't want to have, spouses and stuff left behind and stuff like that.
What about being a Time Lord, knowing it would mean you outliving all of your loved ones, but you go on countless adventures being a Time Lord? Would you want to be a Time Lord?
That's the Highlander problem, you
Yeah.
know? Probably, but yeah.
Like the Lord of the Rings, where they tell her not to marry Aragorn.
Yeah, because she'll eventually, but she chooses the mortal life and she marries Aragorn. Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to think. I'm still going through my mind of any Doctor Who companions that were married, and I think they want to avoid those entanglements with the problems with the show. Wilfred was a widower. Yeah, Wolf was a widower. Amy and Rory's dad shows up for a few episodes, but he's a widower. You could try and make a claim that he's a companion, although he doesn't fall into that slot. Same thing for Rose's mother,
Mm-hmm.
but she's a widow. She doesn't quite fall into that slot either. She actually ends up kind of going along against the Doctor's will.
Brigadier never gets married, does he?
No. Well, okay. He never mentions a family.
Mm-hmm.
He never, or to the best of my knowledge,
Doesn't wear a wedding ring.
he doesn't wear a wedding ring.
I feel like
And he's
married to his career.
he never mentions a wife or anything like that. But eventually we have his daughter.
Oh.
So at some point, oh man, how in the world does that fit? At some point he gets married, has a kid.
You don't have to get married to have a kid.
The Brigadier? In 1970s UK, yeah,
Maybe he went to a bar.
No, he got married. 1970s and 80s, yeah. 60s, 70s, 80s. He got married at some point, and he had a daughter, but in the 20th century stuff, I don't think that's ever mentioned. That just becomes a thing in the 21st century stuff.
His daughter shows up.
Essentially, they kind of make her up out of whole cloth. But what basically, for it to happen based on his continuous reoccurrences, he must have either had the child before the show, because he was already like pushing 40, and she was more or less grown up, which is possible.
So that could be a married companion. What if he's married but separated?
But they never mention it ever.
Maybe he's married but separated.
No, he probably then would have been a widower. But once again, it's never mentioned. He never mentions his wife. He's never wearing a ring, at least not to my remembrance. And then when he's older, he's still seeming single in his continuous reoccurrences.
I like speculating on the hypothetical lives of fictional characters. It's fucked.
Yeah, so many of them. Like I said, widowers. Okay. Okay, Vicki. All right. Any questions about Vicki? I mean,
I think we summed it up pretty well.
These are gonna be short episodes. Yeah. I mean,
she's a short companion.
She was.
I like talking about the taller ones more.
She was good in the Romans, especially. Crusade. Time Miller. And then Mythmakers. Those were her best serials. And then she leaves, and she does exactly what Susan did.
Is it cold in here?
Yeah. But she does exactly what Susan did. Oh, fell in love. Okay, goodbye. Go off. Fall in love with the guy. You're gone. Exactly.
Just kind of shoo him away.
That's how they get rid of the better female companions. Oh, you fell in love. Okay, go off, get married, stay here.
The less good ones, they just kill them off. Or
no. It was just like, oh, okay, good. Get rid of her. She's gone. Dodo.
They just leave without her.
Yeah, Dodo. Okay. All right. Thank you for watching this incredibly uninformative episode
I feel they were very well informed.
of Drunk Doctor Who Heroes of the Villains.
I didn't know about the Brigadier having a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure they appreciate our...
I'm looking forward to getting back to the proper Drunk Doctor Who with the actual drinking and stuff. Yeah. Once my cleanse is over. All right.
Well, maybe those are just longer because the drunken stupors and the...
Well, and when we're talking about the main show, and we've got to go through a bunch of plot stuff. See, because we've already gone through all that plot stuff when we're talking about the characters. So there's not a ton of more plot stuff to go through. We've already done that.
So we just do the fun stuff.
Well, it's all fun stuff. That's the whole point. Except the drinking. That's the other fun stuff. All right. Okay, we'll see you in a moment for Steven. Steven.
Stefan?
Huh?
Stefan?
Steven. All right.